Professional wrestlers often spend about 300 days a year on the road, so it's a miracle that a number of them are able to juggle in-ring careers and functioning romantic relationships. Regardless of pressure, there is no one who can resist the allure of long-term companionship. There are some who found love when they were just starting out, while others found love over the course of their careers. So let's check out 5 wrestlers that got engaged and 8 that got married this year. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are a couple of the biggest stars in WWE. The man's ascent to the top of the WWE mountain has been well documented, and her run as the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion has served to prove that the former last kicker is a big draw in the eyes of the universe. On the other hand, Seth Rollins has had quite a roller coaster in 2019. After being chosen to be the man to dethrone Brock Lesnar by the company and the fans, the Beast Slayer has fallen victim to the Roman Reigns and John Cena treatment, where he has been turned into a generic cookie-cutter babyface. His controversial comments on Twitter and the fact that he never really seemed to buy what he was selling on the mic resulted in fans turning against Rollins. Thankfully, instead of shoving him down the throats of fans, WWE seems to have decided to turn him heel, with Kevin Owens being in the role of the top babyface on Raw. When Rollins and Lynch went public with their relationship earlier this year, WWE thought it had its next power couple, pairing them up on TV almost immediately. Yet their awkward interactions resulted in both stars losing considerable momentum, which resulted in WWE pulling the plug. Regardless of what goes on TV, everything seems to be going well for the couple behind the scenes, as they announced they had gotten engaged in August this year. After being dominated by a debuting Fiend at SummerSlam, Finn Balor went off programming for a while to really sell the impact of the match. During his time away from the ring, the Demon King not only got a couple of sweet tattoos, he also got married. Via Instagram, Balor announced that he had tied the knot with Veronica Rodriguez in late August. Rodriguez is a Fox Sports reporter in Mexico, and the wedding is primarily the reason Balor was written off TV after his loss to the Fiend. If a couple of pieces on the WWE chessboard are moved around, the Demon King and his queen could end up working in close proximity, with Fox now being the home to Friday Night SmackDown, but that probably will not happen for a while, seeing as Balor has just begun establishing himself as a heel on NXT. Remember when James Ellsworth was feuding with AJ Styles and had a chance of becoming the WWE Champion? Yeah, those were fun times. After his initial run on SmackDown, that saw him get mixed up in the main event scene. Ellsworth was taken off TV before he returned to help Carmella remain SmackDown Women's Champion. Ellsworth has been wrestling on the independent scene for over a year and made waves in the internet wrestling community last week when it was revealed that he proposed to his girlfriend at Disney World. The Chinless Wonder posted a video of the proposal to his Instagram and said that Disney World is truly the most magical place on earth. Humberto Carrillo seems to have been handpicked for a push to the top. He spent a few weeks feuding with AJ Styles in the OC for the US title, but according to reports, that feud has been dropped by Vince, who seems to have suddenly lost faith in Carrillo's abilities to be a top star in the promotion. Creative never really gave fans a reason to care about Carrillo, aside from the fact that he's just a good performer. The 24-year-old does have a long way to go and will more than likely get opportunities to prove his worth. Despite his young age, Carrillo is actually married. He tied the knot with his girlfriend Tanya Ramirez after a short engagement. Drake Maverick was perhaps as important as R-Truth in making the 24/7 title one of the best parts of Raw for a couple of months. It was all nonsense, but it was entertaining. Maverick married Renee Michelle earlier this year, and we all know how much he struggled to consummate his marriage because he just could not take his eyes off the championship gold. Tessa Blanchard is on the verge of becoming the first female Impact World Champion in history. The 24-year-old is the brightest young talent, being on the cusp of greatness with Impact. The daughter of legendary Torrie Blanchard, Tessa recently confirmed she had gotten engaged to fellow Impact star Daga. Assuming Blanchard wins the world title at January's Hard to Kill, she will have 2 massive events to plan next year: a championship victory party as well as a wedding. Peyton Royce has been treated as a comedy sideshow act during her run as one half of the Iconics. The Australian superstar alongside Billie Kay had a terrible run with the women's tag team titles. Now they are no longer holding gold, so the duo have become an undercard distraction. Royce has spoken about her lack of time in the ring and the fact that she is just waiting for the opportunity to prove herself. Shawn Spears, on the other hand, will be better known to WWE fans as the perfect 10 Tye Dillinger. After a successful run on NXT, Dillinger was barely given a shot on the main roster. Instead of waiting for a chance, the man behind the gimmick cut his losses and signed with AEW as Shawn Spears. As a part of the upstart promotion, Spears is perhaps the biggest heel in the company outside of the inner circle, as he figures to be a major player in AEW's future. That doesn't seem to have complicated his relationship with Peyton Royce, as the pair got married in late August, earlier this year. If WWE can't figure out how to use Royce effectively, she may end up joining Spears in AEW, where she would honestly be an asset to AEW's women's division, which has been struggling to establish itself since the debut of AEW Dynamite. Nikki Cross and Killian Dain were both members of Sanity, one of the most dominant factions on NXT, but the faction barely even got a chance to do anything on the main roster before the company decided to split them all up. Cross would establish herself as an important part of the women's division, and her friendship with Alexa Bliss is perhaps one of the more entertaining aspects of the division. Killian Dain has recently moved back to NXT, and the Beast of Belfast has spent the last couple of months acting as pretty much a wrecking ball on the black and yellow brand. Cross and Dain actually go way back and knew each other way before signing with WWE. The long-term couple finally got married in Glasgow in June. Piper Niven is a name that will be familiar to fans of NXT UK. After making her debut in 2009 at the age of 18, Piper eventually made her NXT UK debut earlier this year in March. She had wrestled in the Mae Young Classic a couple of years ago, but is best known for her independent work under the ring name Viper. Her real name is Kimberly Benson, and she came out in support of the LGBTQIA community by coming out as bisexual on September 23rd, which is to celebrate Bisexuality Day. The powerhouse shared some good news with fans on her Twitter, as she stated that she had gotten engaged to her boyfriend on November 22nd. Torrie Wilson was one of the most popular on-screen personalities in WWE, and this was reflected by her induction into the Hall of Fame in the class of 2019. Wilson retired from in-ring competition in May 2008, but has made sporadic appearances over the last decade or so. Wilson will not be remembered by fans for her in-ring skill, but rather her ability to entertain. The 44-year-old married Justin Tupper on September 19th. This is Wilson's second marriage, as she was previously married to Billy Kidman for 5 years from 2003 to 2008. No wrestler has made the transition to Hollywood nearly as successfully as The Rock has. Not only was he the biggest name in the world of pro wrestling, he has also become arguably the biggest actor on the planet. He got married to long-term girlfriend Lauren Haitian in August. This is The Rock's second marriage, as he was married to Danny Garcia for over a decade before a divorce in 2008. He has one kiddo from his first marriage and 2 children with Haitian. Zack Ryder is one of the more likable personalities in WWE, and while he had a couple of strong runs in the company, he has spent most of his time in the undercard. The internet champion hasn't been relevant for a while, but the fact that Chelsea Green is on NXT makes it easier to deal with the fact that he spends most of his time off TV. Ryder got engaged to Green 2 days before WrestleMania 35 in the shadow of the Empire State Building. WWE should seriously consider moving Ryder to NXT, where he might get more TV time than he would on Raw or SmackDown. Soon after successfully pulling off Slammiversary 17, Impact Wrestling was given another reason to celebrate when the Machine Brian Cage announced that he had married Melissa Santos. The former Impact World and X Division champion married Santos in July, a few months after Cage popped the question at a wrestling event, where fans reportedly went nuts when Santos said yes. Sami Callihan celebrated their marriage by pile-driving Santos in October, so there's that.
You can't do this! Come on! You piece of shit!
And these were 5 wrestlers that got engaged and 8 that got married this year. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later in the next video.